My name is Tikiya Young. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. An adventurous person. I like to travel and I just went skydiving this weekend. It was awesome.
Oh, stand up.
Oh yeah, how was that?
Oh, that was fun. Woo!
So what'd you think?
Oh my God, that was so much fun.
What was your favorite part of that whole thing?
The ride down, like the last part.
Under the canopy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you think you'll ever do this again?
Yeah, let's go again right now.
Alright. Hey, do us a favor, make sure you come back here to Scout Out Chicago.
Woo!
It's important to always realize that in everything that you do in life, there is a lot of risk involved. It makes no sense to walk around the world afraid of everything. It's not that the fear isn't there, it's that I can overcome it. And it's that moment after the fear is gone, it's like, oh, okay, I did it.
Previously in Cynosure in the diaspora, Tikiya spoke about her first visit at 19 to Australia and the islands of Fiji, and subsequently her trip with her family and some other church members to Ghana.
Now, you now went to Malawi and you spent a whole month in Malawi.
Yeah.
What were your anxieties initially? I mean, you're an American woman, and you had to go to Malawi where you didn't have any savings, in the bank and stuff like that. What were your anxieties?
I'm one of those that when I take trips, I'm perfectly fine, or when I do adventures such as skydiving, I'm perfectly fine until the very moments before the trip. So I was fine, and everyone else told me I was crazy for going across the world, by myself. And up until maybe the week before, and I came down with this entire panic about all these things that could go wrong. Money, for me, I had been saving, so money wasn't such a huge issue with me at that moment because I knew that I kind of had money, that would hold me over. But I think I was more apprehensive, my American self, that I was going and I didn't know anybody. Here in America, you don't just pack up and go to another state without knowing where you're going or who you're going to be with it. It can sort of be kind of dangerous.
Except you want to stay in the shelter.
Right. Right. sort of be kind of dangerous. So for me, I was more panicked about what would happen if the person who was supposed to be picking me up from the airport wasn't there, and I didn't know who the person was. I had never seen them, and it was just kind of, you have to really put your trust in other people, and that sort of, I found that difficult to do.
Wow. And then you decided to work in an orphanage. Was that because you have had this experience with orphanage, in Ghana, or what are the motives, for you deciding to put in half of your stay or more? I mean, you worked in the orphanage for how long?
Almost every day. Almost every day I was there. What gave me the idea to do that, it was originally just a kind of leisure trip, go and see and experience. My friend whose family this was, she was originally supposed to come with me, and then financial problems here in America kind of kept her from going, and at that point I'm like, well, I still want to go, so if I can go, I'll go. But I did not like the idea that I was kind of staying with her family just kind of free of charge, kind of free for an entire month. For me being American, that's not the way we do things. I know she kept reassuring me, like, no, that's what you have to do. That's how visitors come and they stay at our house. And I'm like, no, visitors come and they stay in hotels. And so for me, that was hard. And so for my, I guess, payment to the family or to the country of Malawi was to give back. And so that's why I said, well, at least can you set me up with something so that I'm working every day, so that I could sort of earn my keep in a way, just to give back for what they were giving me.
Wow. And what was that experience like, in the orphanage?
The orphanage, it was the first time that I had ever worked in a orphanage. I work here at a shelter, and to me it was sort of very different. It was babies, so everyone was under the age of about 1. I think we had one baby that was had just turned 1 or something, and it was about 20 of them, and only, I think it was 4 adults that worked there. And can you imagine just a room for, you got 5 kids you have to care for that's underage, and we had at one point during my stay there, we had a brand new baby that came in, and they estimated, I'm not sure where they got her from, but they estimated that she was probably 2 days old.
Wow.
Brand new baby. And that's kind of hard. That's overwhelming for one mother to take care of one baby, but it's one mother taking care of 5 babies. So it was such a joy for me. The babies, they just needed love and needed care, and it was something that I could give.
Did you get attached to any of them before you left?
I did. I got attached. I wanted to bring 1 or 2 back with me, and I imagine that the paperwork is just extensive and something that was unplanned. But I mean, if I was given a go, I probably would have took me more.
Wow.
Yeah, I did. I got it. It's hard not to get attached to the kids. They're so cute and lovable.
Yeah, and how did you create time? Because you said you worked every day in the orphanage. How did you create time for adventure in Malawi? It's a beautiful country.
The family that I was staying with kind of created that time for me. I wasn't really given a choice, and they actually didn't tell me. I told them, I told my friend before I went what I wanted to do. It was I know I wanted to go on a safari, but I had not actually planned it. I was expecting not to plan it till I got there, and they had it already planned for me. So the only days that I wasn't at the orphanage were the days that I was doing the safari, and I went to see the mountains, and they kind of had to pry me away from the orphanage. I got so attached. I was like, well, does this mean I won't be working today? And they're like, no, you can't work every day you're here. So it was definitely a balancing act, because I could have stayed the entire time.
The safari. A lot of people have said, that going to safari, because it's been planned for the Western, tourists. You may see things there that will make you feel, oh no, I'd rather just have the real Africa. So what was the safari experience? The places they gave you for accommodation, the tents and everything, did they still maintain that African, in the food and everything and the services there?
I think they did a great job, like maintaining kind of the very essence of the land. They did little disturbance to the land that I think that they possibly could. It was tents. They did have what they called chalets, little cottage houses or such, but in terms of like there were no wires and it was just a lot of open land. Nothing kept the animals from coming in. They were kind of walking on by. The monkeys were everywhere. It was not anything that kept the animals from us, so to speak. So I think I got a very good feel for living in the wild, and they did have tour guides that kind of drove around to help us look for the animals so that we could get a chance to see. But in terms of actually bothering the animals, or they be in like enclosure, like a zoo, or ill-treated, I don't think it was any of that. I think it was very good, very well planned out camp.
When you went to the community, the rural area, what kind of problem did you have with, like language barriers and stuff like that?
The language barrier, it was pretty big. I had I didn't know that not many in the smaller towns or knew English, so I had a girl with me that traveled with me. It was the village that her grandmother was from.
Okay.
So she knew the people there and she was able to help me communicate. But the smile is universal, and then, being gestures and being welcoming, that's universal, and so we were able, I think, to communicate okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here that you have two fish in your hand. What how did you come about that?
This is the chombo fish, and it's native to Lake Malawi. This is the Lake Malawi here, and that's what the local people, the fishermen, they fish and then they sell it on the shores. So it was a guy, I think you can see him here, that I asked to bring me a few fish. So
just take those home? Or?
Yes, I ate them for dinner. Actually, I did. The kitchen, they cooked them for me.
Yeah. What was most striking, if there is anything like that, about your trip to Malawi? What was most
impressionable to you?
I was very impressed with the scenery. It was just something that you don't see very often. You don't realize that there are mountains there and everything is so beautiful. The sunrise and the sunset, I found out that over Lake Malawi, the sunrise and sunset's on the same side, which is not exactly what we're used to. So as
the sun rises and sets from the same side?
Yeah, you can go when you wake up in the morning, you can see the sunrise over here, and it also sets too. I think it's the way. I imagine that it's still east and west, but the lake runs in between it, so it kind of looks as if
it's from the same direction.
Yes, so you could see that, and then I thought the mountains were breathtaking. The views that I was able to get from the mountains.
This picture is very, very striking. The woman's carrying a bundle of wood.
Yes.
And then the background is a tree. And it's just as if she's carrying a whole huge branch of tree. If you look at it, you see things that are like milestones along that road. And you start imagining if she's going to walk all that distance before she gets home.
Yes.
You know?
And the road was very steep and very curvy.
Wow.
And you saw women walking up and down with huge branches, look like whole trees on their head.
Yeah.
Walking up and down the road barefoot, no shoes, and they were starting at the top and going all the way to the bottom. That was very interesting to see her by herself doing that. Sometimes you'd see them with the baby on their back. I don't remember. I can't see if she had one, but
wow,
it's amazing.
I know. The monkey.
Right. He was very tall. I think he was over half my height at his stance now. The way he was standing.
And are you able to interpret that what's in what's in his mind there? What do you think? Because it depends on what you were doing.
We were walking by and he was walking by. I think the fact that maybe that we stopped to take the picture of him kind of.
And then the tail is erect, at a point you see that.
Yeah, no.
So
I was like, can we hurry?
That could be to show that he's apprehensive.
Yes, I think he was checking us out as we were checking him out, but he looks a little more mean than we are. So I'm not sure if he appreciated his picture being taken. But
wow,
yes,
I did see a lot of monkeys, I believe.
I saw a lot of monkeys. I got very up close and personal with a lot of animals.
And then the rhinos, you took pictures of them too, and the elephants.
Yes. I didn't realize that I had a very, I was very interested to learn about the elephants.
Yeah.
They were very nice, very quiet, kind of kept to themselves. It was hard to find them, but when you did find them, they were usually in groups together, in families together. So I was very interested when our tour guide was taking us around. I really only wanted to see the elephants.
Yeah. I think the only time they were actually they could be dangerous is like when they you panic them, they get panicked.
Yes, and that did happen to me. I had my flash on, and I think it startled the mother who was with her young at the time, and they started coming towards us, and we had to be really still and really quiet.
You went to Lake Malawi.
Lake Malawi was a very large lake, one of the largest lakes in the area, and it was crystal clear, kind of like what you would see at an ocean or something. And there were very many hundreds and thousands of species of fish that you not used to seeing in a lake. You get your one or two fish, but there were all different colors and many different types of fish. And you saw the eagles in Lake Malawi.
Yes. Now, apart from the mountains of Malawi, the lake, and the city, Lilongwe, did you stay at all in the rural area? Did you go to any of the the villages?
Yes, I did. I went to the village.
Yeah.
Of course, you know me. There's nothing I'm too afraid to do. So the village it completed part of the trip. You don't go, and not see everything. So I wanted. My friend's mother that I stayed with, her mother stayed in the village. So, of course, I wanted to go meet the rest of the family and cousins and everybody in the village. They welcomed me, and everybody came and said hi and spoke and showed me around. Everyone wanted me to see their house that they stayed at.
What's the difference between the Lilongwe and this village?
The village, the villages out here are kind of like little towns and little cities. The villages, when people ask me this question, the best I can explain it is in America we have the South and the country, what we would refer to as the country, where people live bare minimum. They don't really, I mean, our country, they kind of have electricity, but you can go to some parts of America where the country, they barely have running water, and they still have the outhouses and not much electricity, and we would refer to that as the Delta or the country down south. And it's kind of their country, their villages. Everyone uses natural resources, and you reuse and reduce and reuse and kind of recycle everything. Nothing really gets thrown away. Little or no electricity, and you have the for water, they have the outdoor water pumps.
Yeah,
and the wells.
Mm-hmm. Now, did you try your hands in possibly cooking or something? You know, just doing part of their lifestyle.
Yes, I did. I tried to make sema, which is, oh goodness, it's hard to explain what sema is, but it's a kind of food that they eat with everything. It kind of goes with every meal. I tried to make that. I was a little unsuccessful. They had to help me out, but it was fun. I got a chance to try, and we kind of cooked that outside on the little fireplace that they have outdoors. I did in the village go into everyone's house and visit with them and the children, and it was a sort of celebration going on for a wedding. So I got to see the traditional dancers running around the villages. They were chasing the kids. It was kind of funny. So everywhere I went, I think they did a really good job at keeping the area clean and not respecting the land, which I think Americans can take a very big hit from.
Yes. Now, the family you stayed with is an average family. I mean, like middle class. People that have enough to eat, have a decent house and everything.
Mm-hmm. They had enough to eat and enough to share with me. Can you share a little bit about your experience with this family that you had for 1 month? Yes, the family. It was a very large family. The mother, she worked, as well as the father. They were married and they worked together. They both worked had their own jobs. They worked. There was also that lived in the house was an aunt. And she worked as well. They owned a store, like a family little small mart, and the aunt worked in the family store, as well as 2 cousins that lived in the house as well. Also, both of them worked in this family store together that they used to make their money. They also had 3 little kids that were from the orphanage that they adopted from the orphanage that I actually worked at. So it was kind of very full circle, giving back at the orphanage. And then the kids, one day they came up. I guess they didn't go back to the orphanage very often, but they came when I was there to see me. And so the women at the orphanage was very happy, and kind of some of them remembered the kids and was showing them off to everybody, like, look, we had these babies and look at them now. So it was very nice. And the kids were 3, 5, and 6.
Yes. Now, so far you've talked about kids, you've talked about the family, you've talked about the people you met in the village. Now, were there people about your age, did you meet any young people about your age, and, what was their attitude like?
I spent just not much time with people my age. I think that is one thing that's going to be on my list of things to do, to meet more people that was my age, because either I was at the orphanage working with the babies. There was the sister, she was 12 years old. She went with me everywhere, but again, she was 12. And then it was just adults. I did hang out with one cousin, excuse me, who was my age, maybe a few years younger, and she introduced me to some of her friends, and we had made plans to hang out again. We did one night we had a barbecue, and I was at her house, and we she had like a little outdoor grill, and we barbecued and hung out and talked. And at that little gathering, I think it was about 5 people that we were kind of all the same age. But apart from that, I was sick a couple of weekends, so I missed out on
Yeah.
social gatherings.
Wow. Tell us about that period of time when you were slightly indisposed. What happened?
I perhaps ate something that I probably should have been a little bit more careful. I caught a bug twice actually, and it was actually a very good experience. Seeing as though I was sick, I was able to see the hospitality of the people of Malawi. Everybody came to visit me, and everyone was concerned, and I couldn't really get much rest because so many people were coming in and out, checking on me, making sure I was okay. People that I had met once, people that I hadn't met at all, or who heard about that I was there and now I was sick. It was very amazing to see how much people cared about someone they barely knew or didn't really know at all. But I got better. It wasn't, it wasn't that dehydrated. I was kind of out for a day or two, but it was fine. I plan to extend my travels to South America, hopefully coming up the 2016 Olympic Games. I plan to be in Rio de Janeiro for that, and hopefully that can expand my travels past the continent of Africa to learn about other cultures as well.
Just want to thank you. Do you have any last word, that you want to leave for everybody who's been, listening to you? Anybody?
I think it's important that when you try new things and try to be open to your environment and the world around you, and realize that there is also something out there that's greater and bigger than you are, that you could actually go see and experience, you'll see the world in a totally different light, and words can't put into expression what that is. Like, you have to go and see it for yourself. So if there's an opportunity for you to try something new, don't shut that down and don't close that door, and just be open to learning something else.